I hate New York City.
When I was 14 years old, I filled up an entire notebook writing one thing over and over and over again.
I hate New York City.
Maybe I knew somewhere in the back of my head that I didn't hate the actual city itself. I just hated everything that it wasn't. It wasn't my home, and I had determined that it never would be home. When I was 14 years old, I spent a lot of time determining what I would be and what I wouldn't be. I watched a lot of TV, and I knew I didn't want to be the typical surly teenage daughter, so my hormones and I went to war.
Honey, look! It's a special on blueberry pancakes. You love blueberry pancakes. We're stopping. We're stopping. And we're getting as many blueberry pancakes as we can.
You can probably guess from my mother's ravenous desire to please me that the divorce had been bad.
I hope they have streusel on top just like you like. And let's order coffee.
I was the most miserable, self-pitying teenager who has ever lived. Dr. Phil would have loved me.
Extra cream and sugar for me. Oh, I'm so bad.
I was raised to pretend.
These pancakes are to die for. You have to try them, honey.
My mom told me that we were moving because she had a great job opportunity. It's funny how sneaky adults think they are.
I couldn't live off of pancakes.
And when I was 14 years old, I pretended everything was fine with me.
Should we get more coffee? It's so good, especially for a diner.
My mom didn't know what had happened the night before when I'd said goodbye to Dad.
Dad, I really don't want to go.
Uh, I know, honey. I'm really going to miss you.
No, Dad, you don't understand. I can't go. If I go, I'm literally going to die.
Oh, honey, you won't die if you...
The condescension was what made me explode in all my hormonal glory.
Dad, I'm not kidding. I don't want to go. If I go, I'm going to die. You don't understand. Please don't make me go, Dad. Please. I want to stay with you.
Honey...
Dad, please. Dad, I don't want to go.
To me, I wasn't being dramatic. I really did feel like I was dying. When I left my hometown, I wasn't going to be me anymore. I was going to be someone else. I didn't want to be anyone else. I didn't want the old me to die.
Only an hour away. Are you excited, honey?
For everything that it was and everything that it wasn't.
I hate New York City.
Wow, look, we're here. Look at the skyline. Isn't it pretty, Mads? We'll have to go down and see the city later. Wouldn't that be fun?
My mom and I didn't have time to set up my bed, so I got to sleep on a mattress. I told my mom that it was fine because I didn't want to tell her how much it wasn't.
When I was 14 years old, I laid in my room and I cried. I found out 10 years later that my mom was crying in the next room over. This wasn't what either of us wanted, but divorce happened to almost everyone, and you only got so long to cry about it. You could cry over grandpa dying, but not over dad choosing the family he liked better.
That's not what it is.
Then what is it, Dad?
It's something I have to do.
You're right, Dad. It's something that you have to do for you. But what about me? What am I supposed to do? Just disappear? I get it. You want to do things the way you really wanted, but what am I supposed to do, Dad?
Mads, I don't know.
I still hate that nickname.
I hate you. You are so stupid.
Madison!
No, go ahead. Go off to your new family. I really do hope it's better, Dad, but don't expect me to talk to you ever again.
Does anybody else ever look back at themselves and cringe?
Madison, please. I want to keep having a relationship with you.
Well, that's not going to happen. Bye, Dad.
When I was 14 years old, I thought words were just words.
Mads, wait!
I didn't realize how much they could scar. I was so angry and determined not to show it.
Hey, Mads. This is, well, I guess you probably know who it is. Call me when you get a chance, okay?
In an effort to avoid my real problems, I started exploring. There were a bunch of nooks and crannies in the apartment. Most of the time, it was just dead spiders and mouse droppings. It got boring quickly, but then I pulled away the loose paneling above my bed. When I was 14 years old,
I found a shoebox in my wall.
it was August 18th.
No, I literally found a shoebox full of letters inside my wall.
It confirmed what I already had suspected.
New York City is so weird.
When I was 14 years old, I found a shoebox full of envelopes with dates on them, and I opened the first one.
I hate New York City.
I devoured the rest of that letter like my life depended on it.
I feel bad saying it because I know neither of us want to be here, but we didn't have a choice. There was nothing left for us in Rockport except a reminder of the way things used to be. But seriously, I hate everything about New York City. But my father says things can change. He says that everyone has the power to change the course of someone's life through small acts of goodness. He also says that even if we can't change New York City won't change us. I believe him. I do. But still, I hate
New York City.
less than a month till senior orientation. I hope everyone back in Texas is sending me good vibes like they told me they would. I'm gonna need them. Sincerely, Jessica Walsh.
I read the letter once, and then I read it again. The next morning, I couldn't stop myself. I read it again.
We might not be able to change New York City.
But New York City won't change us.
I could have just torn the rest of the envelopes open, but something made me want to wait for the next date. I felt like I could breathe.
Hey, Mads. Your mom says you got in safe. I'm glad to hear it. Just call back if you feel like it. No pressure. I love you.
August 20th came, and I tore open my new letter, eager to learn more about my new friend.
It's weird, but TV pretty much got New York City right. I mean, it's big and loud and brassy, but I have to admit, it's kind of fun. We went to Times Square today and took a picture with this weird Elmo knockoff. He smelled bad, but it was still fun. My father seemed a little more like himself today.
Want to get pizza, Jess?
I haven't seen my father eat a full meal since my mother got sick.
I'm gonna have heartburn for days, but it's worth it.
I know my father is nervous about his new position, but he never says anything. I used to think it was admirable, but now it just makes me hurt.
She would have loved this. All the lights.
I miss her so much. Sincerely, Jessica Walsh.
Jessica's mom died?
My dad was gone too, but he was on the other end of the phone.
I miss her so much.
I miss him so much.
I wish that I could say that I called him right then and there and set things right, but I told myself that I was too tired.
Just call
I'll
back
call
if
him
you
later.
feel like it. No pressure.
I'll call him later.
I'll be honest, I don't really remember the days between the letters. Once I started to get to know Jessica, all I wanted to do was keep reading her letters. She was like the wise older sister I never had, and the mom that I had wanted.
You want to go get hot dogs? There's this cool little stand outside today.
School was coming and I was scared. I followed Jessica's story and hoped it would be my story.
We had senior orientation today. It was better than I thought it would be. I wasn't the only new kid.
New York crazy. New York City is crazy, huh? Where are you from?
Texas.
Ah, Texas. Get along, little doggies and all that.
Yes, I actually come from a long line of dog ranchers.
Oh, of course. The favorite profession down there.
Where are you from?
Canada.
Oh, Canada, eh? Maple leaves and hockey and all that, eh?
You literally just described me perfectly. That was kind of scary.
I'm Jessica.
Matt.
He's cute, but I am not holding my breath.
I would die if the cute boy talked to me.
It's time for orientation, honey.
Orientation, also known as orientation, also known as the literal torture for an antisocial.
But the fact that Jessica went to orientation and came out all in one piece made me think maybe I could handle it too.
Hey, you're new, aren't you? I think you're in history with us.
Katie, you can be so aggressive.
Oh, come on. She looks lost. Can we help show you around?
Yeah, that'd actually be pretty cool.
I was terrified to put myself out there, but I remembered how easily Jessica interacted with Matt. Maybe if I just was brave, I could feel brave.
It's so nice to see a new face around here. Some of us have been going to school together since kindergarten. I'm so sick of seeing the same people every day.
Thanks a lot, Katie.
Oh, don't be so sensitive. Oh, this is Mrs. Lee's classroom. She is the best.
Even if her tiny little classroom makes you want to die of claustrophobia.
So she's a history teacher.
Yeah, we always sit in the front because we're cool or whatever.
Oh, watch out. Mrs. Lee normally has all the freshmen do a presentation on 9/11. I was kind of hoping she'd retire this year, but it looks like it's still going on.
Parents usually give a lot of backlash because some of the material out there can be really disturbing.
I found myself kind of looking forward to the project, though I never would have admitted it. I had dignity. Before I went home, Katie and Alyssa gave me their numbers to text. I kind of thought Jessica might be proud of me.
New York City won't change us.
But it was changing me, for the better.
I'm free September 2nd. See you then. Thumbs up emoji, smile face emoji, lifting hands emoji.
Ew, stop sending emojis, Katie.
Hair emoji, poop emoji.
Mature.
That's you. You're the poop.
Okay.
Katie and Alyssa were so different from my old friends, but I was glad they were. I was starting to really like different. It wasn't nearly as scary as I had thought it would be. I remember just wanting to be the best person I could be, which meant that I was going to have to do something that I really didn't want to do. But I had to. I felt like Jessica and Matt and her father were looking over my shoulder now. I had to do this.
Hey, Mads. Was hoping I might catch you, but
Hey, Dad.
oh, hey, Mads. I didn't think you'd answered.
I'm mad at you.
I know.
I'm sorry, but I can't forgive you. Not right now.
I'm sorry, but I have to.
Dad, please, just no more excuses. Nothing's gonna make it any better. I get it, you're a person and you have to live your life for you, but you've only ever been one thing in my life, and it kind of feels like you're throwing that all away and you don't want me anymore.
Mads, it's a lot more complicated than what.
I know, but it's really not that complicated, Dad. It's not that hard to understand. You made a commitment to Mom when you married her and when you had me. And it kind of feels like I'm not important to you anymore.
Mads, you have to understand. I've been living my whole life.
Dad, I don't have to understand. I'll probably never understand. I hope I don't understand. I don't want to do this to my family when I grow up. But Dad, you're the only dad I have, and I won't be mad at you forever. You just got to give me a little time.
Okay, Mads.
It was what Jessica would have done, but because I wasn't nearly as brave or as brilliant as her, I cried after we hung up. But Jessica taught me that admitting you're hurting is the most powerful thing you can do.
My parents got divorced.
Random alert.
Is that why you came out here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mine too. When I was 7.
I was 12.
Still hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, for me too.
Everybody's parents get divorced nowadays, so it's supposed to be normal, but it doesn't feel normal.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No way.
For the first time, I let my friends see me. It was terrible, but it was wonderful.
Hey, thanks for being so honest today, Mads. If you ever want to talk, just hit us up.
3 thumbs up emojis, 2 heart emojis, and 1 girl has a brown hair emoji.
You are a scab on society.
Hashtag blessed.
I think new kid orientation was supposed to get us excited for our new school. Do you feel like they were trying to convince us that school isn't really that bad?
Judge me all you want, but I like school, especially history.
And why do you like history?
It's a story. It's a narrative. It can tell us a lot about the human condition and human nature. I think you can learn a lot from history.
Right, like how not to repeat it.
That's the cliche, but it's true.
Those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. No big deal, just some Winston Churchill.
That was actually first written by George Santayana in 1905.
Wow, I am way out of my depth here.
No, but seriously, it's incredible. Humans don't change. Their nature doesn't, at least. If we don't decide to be different, then we'll continue doing the same horrible things again. We'll learn to hate people because they're different than us. That's really the theme of history, fear of the unknown. We focus on the things that make us different as opposed to the things that make us the same. Understanding history is understanding that nothing is set in stone and no one is a slave to their circumstance. You know?
Wow, I am seriously out of my depth here.
But you know, right?
Yeah, of course. Man, you're brilliant.
I don't think I'll ever forget the way he said it. I can't stop smiling.
He didn't tell her that she was pretty.
You're brilliant.
This was so much more.
Guys are dumb. But Matt's okay.
I couldn't stop thinking about what Jessica said about history. It had never occurred to me that I could shape my own story, that who I was could be something that I decided, not the people around me. I had been back at school for 2 days when I read Jessica's final letter.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, do you want to talk?
About...
Your first day back at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Well, you can talk to me.
It's just gonna be a hard first year without her.
She's the best person I've ever known.
Before I met her, I was lost, and now I feel lost again.
You know what she'd say, right?
That's enough sunshine, Prince of Denmark.
She wanted you, us, to be happy.
Be happy. Don't be Hamlet.
I still think we should trademark that.
Some days, Jess, it's hard to look at you because right now, everything you just said, you're her.
Talk about setting the bar high.
You've already passed the bar, Jess. You're growing up to be the most remarkable young woman.
Dad.
I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Okay, so since you like me so much right now, tomorrow they're doing this retreat thing at school, so they won't have classes. Do you think maybe I could come with you? Help you get set up at the office?
I don't want you to miss school, Jess.
Dad, they're not doing classes or anything, just mixer games and stuff.
Just for the morning.
Just for the morning. Oh, and can Matt come? His parents are calling him out tomorrow too, and he can carry boxes for you and stuff.
You've been spending a lot of time with this Matt guy, huh?
Yes, he's my really good friend.
Yeah. Friend.
Yes, friend. You're even less subtle than Mom.
That hurts.
Love you.
Love you too, Jess.
When I finished the last letter, something felt empty inside of me. But I realized there didn't need to be more. Jessica shared parts of her life with me, and that was enough. I put the last letter away and got back to work on my project. I had always loved history, but I didn't know that much about 9/11. The more I learned about it, the more real it became. That's the problem with loving history. Sometimes you accidentally live it.
Yin Liang, 40th floor. At around 8:46 a.m., I heard a loud pitched boom noise. Then the floor started moving. It swings back and forth slowly, like floating in the air. We were all quite alarmed.
We all sensed immediate danger. After a moment of silence, people stand up and keep looking around for clues, shouting, "What happened?" Our managers are telling everyone to leave the building immediately. Some people are still startled. They're still asking what's going on, what happened. We shouted back, "Get out of the building, now!"
Michael Wright, 81st floor. All of a sudden, there was a shift, like an earthquake. The way I can best describe it is that every joint in the building jolted.
You ever been in a big old house when a gust of wind comes through and all of a sudden the posts start creaking? Picture that creaking, but not on a matter of inches, but of feet. You're thinking gas main. It was so close, so percussive. I opened the door, looked outside, and saw fire.
Adam Oistrich, 24th floor. I ran to the other side of my office and saw fire raining down. Parts of the building were falling and all on fire with paper and other things.
On fire along with paper and other things, and we had to look up because the plane hit on the higher floors and the impact hole was huge. It looked like 10 stories were burning, and the fire seemed to crawl around the tower, and the winds were so high that it caused the smoke to spin in a large swirl.
Jeff Birnbaum, South Tower. When we got about to 50 feet away from the South Tower, we heard the most eerie sound that you could have ever heard. A high-pitched boom noise and a popping noise that made everyone stop.
At the point, it all let go. The way I see it, it had to be the rivets. The building let go. There was an explosion, and the whole top leaned towards us and started coming down.
Constance Labetti, 99th floor. So I stood up and I turned my body towards the window. And I could see the big airplane coming straight towards us. I just stood frozen. I couldn't move. I could see it coming closer and closer. I could see the cockpit.
The tinted windows of the cockpit. That's how close I was. And then it just bellowed into Tower 1. For a moment, just for a moment, I was almost sighing of relief until I realized all those people that had just been killed in that tower.
We all sensed immediate danger. After a moment of silence,
I opened the door, looked outside, and saw
The building let go. There was an explosion.
We had to look way up because the plane hit on the
I could
higher
see
floors.
inside the cockpit, the tinted windows of the
our managers are telling everyone to leave the building immediately.
I opened the door, looked outside, and saw
Building let go. There was an explosion.
It looked like 10 stories were burning.
And then it just bellowed into Tower 1.
They're still asking what's going on. What happened?
I opened the door, I looked outside.
The building let go. There was an
The
explosion.
fire seemed to crawl around the tower.
All those people had just been killed in that tower.
Get out of the building!
And then suddenly I remembered something.
No. No.
Something pulled at my conscience. Gently at first, and then harder until panic began to sink in. No, it couldn't be. I was wrong.
No, please, no.
But I began to remember little things. Scraps of something that I thought didn't add to a narrative. Pieces of some terrible puzzle clicking together.
That's where your dad's going to work? You know, they threw that spire on top literally just to call it the tallest building in the world. So weird.
No.
It's just gonna be a much bigger deal than my last job. Of course I'm nervous. It's one of the most important buildings in New York City. The crown jewel of the skyline.
No, please.
I've heard that when there's a lot of wind, the building will actually bow and sway like a precarious metal kite.
Please, no, please.
8 years ago, there was a bomb in the building. I don't think my father knows, and I'm not going to tell him.
September 10th, 2001.
He's scared of heights.
I always loved being right.
No, please. Please, no.
I had seen the casualty list. It was so long I could hardly stand to look at it, but in that moment I had to look because I had to know I was wrong. Jessica and Matt and her father had gotten out because if they
Jessica Renee Walsh.
My Jessica. There was the man's name with the last name Walsh right by hers. And there were so many Matthews. So many. It had to be wrong. I couldn't accept it. Jessica's story was one of goodness and light and beauty and hope, and that couldn't be the end. It couldn't.
New York City wouldn't.
What kind of a sick joke was this? What kind of disgusting world punishes someone who didn't do anything wrong? What kind of a horrible planet did we live on that other humans could decide when to end someone else's life? And for what? For what? What right did they have to take her life away? I felt like I was dying because it couldn't be true. Things like this couldn't be true.
The world can't be like this. It can't. The world can't be this dark and cruel. People can't be this evil. I refuse to live on an earth that is this evil. I just can't.
When I was 14 years old, I imagined someone I loved and admired burning to death.
Please no.
Mads?
Go away, Mom.
Honey, Mads, are you okay?
Mom.
Honey, what happened? Is it school? Did something happen?
Something had happened 16 years ago.
Honey, tell me, please. Is it about Dad or?
I told her everything. I didn't want to because I was sure that my goofy mom knew nothing about pain and loss and heartache, but I had to tell someone. But my mother sat next to me and read every letter.
Wow.
Are people really this evil?
Honey, there's so much evil in this world. It can blacken hearts and minds, and people do terrible things because of it. But people are just people.
But none of it had anything to do with Jessica, her dad, or Matt. They all just died for nothing.
No, honey,
No, they all died for nothing. All those people, nothing.
No, honey, they didn't. Everyone's story means something.
But Jessica never got to finish her story, Mom. I can't do this 9/11 project. I'll do another project or something else. I just can't do it. Please. Please, you gotta email Mrs. Lee and tell her I can't do it.
Is that what you need?
Yes, Mom, please.
Okay, honey.
At school the next day, everything felt hazy. Jessica was dead, and so was I.
Madison, do you have a moment?
Yes, Mrs. Lee?
I understand that you would like a different project for tomorrow. I read your outline. You have a lot of excellent research already. May I ask why you're switching projects?
I discovered later that my mother had told Mrs. Lee everything. At the moment, I just assumed that she, like all adults, was omniscient.
I knew someone.
Who was in the building?
Yes.
Someone you loved and admired very much?
Yes.
Then why don't you tell their story?
She's dead. That's the end.
Do you think her story is important?
I can't.
Why not?
I'm afraid.
Of?
My story ending before I'm ready.
Have you ever read the back cover of a book before?
Well, yes.
Does it tell you everything you need to know about a book?
No.
No. It's what's inside the book that's most important. Our stories only end when the power of our influence dissipates. We aren't a billion separate hardcover books not touching each other. We're stacks of papers flowing endlessly in and out of each other. Her story is a part of your story. We're not the things that happen to us, Madison. We're what we do and who we are in here. So I ask you again, do you think her story is important?
Jessica was dead, but I felt her hand on my shoulder. My friend.
Yes.
Then you must tell it.
So I did. It took me the whole night, but I did. When I was 14 years old, I stood in front of my freshman history class and I told a story about a girl who I had never met. A girl who died terribly, but a girl who left an indelible mark on my soul.
Everyone has the power to change the course of someone's life with small acts of goodness.
Every year, I read the words of my Jessica, and I hold them closer to my heart, but I have never been able to let go of the most profound feeling of loss, a childish sense of entitlement that I deserve to meet her. But Jessica taught me that life isn't about what we deserve. And besides, I think I was meant to find those words of hers. They met me right where I was and pulled me from a pit that was darker than I ever had to know.
Mom, my feet hurt.
This is Ellie. She's 14 years old.
Can we please just sit down for like 5 seconds?
My girl, She's hurting and she's hiding it. Her father and I were unhappy. We left each other.
Don't worry, I'm just gonna text Amelia.
She doesn't care if people really like her for who she really is. She just wants to be liked.
You know, Amelia and her dad are going to Steamboats for dinner. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of jealous.
We come to New York City every year.
What do fallen arches feel like, Mom?
And she hates New York City.
Mom, I think my arches have fallen.
I wanted to tell her Jessica's story when she turned 14, but I didn't know her life would be so close to mine. Here we are at the 9/11 memorial, and I can't say a word.
What do you think Dad's doing right now? Think he's with his girlfriend?
I know that she feels like she's going to die. I remember. But then there was Jessica. She helped me understand that you can feel like you're dying, but you don't have to die.
Hey, Mom, what are you looking at right now?
My eyes are always drawn to her picture. My first and truest friend. I hope you know Jessica, somehow. Let me thank you one last time.
Mom,
Honey, come here. I want to show you something.
Jessica Renee Walsh. Who is she?
Understanding histories, understanding that things are not set in stone, and no one is a slave to their circumstance.
When I was 14 years old, I found a shoebox full of letters in my wall belonging to Jessica. This is her story.